Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. "300 out of about 600 inmates who escaped from the Kuje Medium Custodial Center in Abuja following Tuesday night's attack rearrested." President Buhari swears in 7 newly appointed ministers, reassigns 4 others in minor cabinet reshuffle. Katsina State confirms its first monkeypox case, reactivates all its emergency call centers spread across the 34 local government areas of the state. I am Nkiro Obuli with these and more. An Ado-Ekiti High Court in Ekiti has sentenced one Juro Ogundele, 65, to life imprisonment for raping his 85-year-old stepmother. The convict was arraigned before Justice Monisola Apodunde on a 1-count charge of rape. According to the charge, Ogundele on June 15, 2021 at Ayetoro Ekiti in Idosi local government area of Ekiti State within the jurisdiction of the court did rape an 85-year-old woman. The offense is contrary to Section 2 of the Ekiti State Gender-Based Violence Prohibition Law 2019. In her testimony before the court, the victim's daughter, Opeyemi Bolaji, said, quote, "I came to give my mother breakfast. On getting to her, I found her in an unsettling physical condition. After eating and upon further prompting to find out a reason for her restlessness, she told me that the defendant did not allow her to sleep. She said the defendant came to her room around 1 a.m., rubbed a balm all over her body, including her anus and vagina, massaged her body, sucked her breast, and forcefully had sex with her. When I tried to find out from the defendant, he said my mother must have been dreaming." The matter was first reported at Ido-Ekiti Police Station before it was transferred to State Criminal Investigation Department of the Nigerian Police Force at Ido-Ekiti. To prove his case, the prosecutor, Folashade Ali, called 5 witnesses, including the investigating police officer and a medical doctor. She tendered victim statements, defendant statements, and medical report from Federal Teaching Hospital, Ido-Ekiti, among others, as exhibits. The defendant spoke in his own defense through his counsel, Emo Folorenshaw, and called no witnesses. Delivering judgment, Justice Monisola Apodunde ruled that the defendant actually committed the offense and accordingly sentenced him to life imprisonment in line with Section 22 of Ekiti State's Gender-Based Violence Prohibition Law 2019. The federal government has confirmed that the rearrest of 300 out of about 600 inmates that escaped from the Kuje Medium Custodial Center in Abuja following Tuesday's night's attack by yet to be identified gunmen. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shuaib Belgore, who confirmed this, said between 50 and 60 others were apprehended on the outskirts of the FCT by security operatives who had since launched a manhunt for the escaped inmates. He said civil defense personnel died in the gun battle between security agencies and the attackers. Belgore, who toured the facility this Wednesday morning to ascertain the level of damage and casualties, said about 600 inmates escaped from the facility, which had a total of 994 inmates. He could not, however, confirm the whereabouts of ex-Plateau State Governor Joshua Darie and his Taraba State counterpart, Jolly Nyame, who were in the facility before the attack. The Permanent Secretary also could not give information on the possible escape of Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and his men who were also inside the facility. Belgorod disclosed that the assailants apparently came determined as they fought security operatives in the facility for more than 30 minutes, saying reinforcements was called, but they escaped before the arrival of more security personnel. Asked if there were casualties on the side of the terrorists, Belgore said it was possible they picked up those gunned down by security operatives from their sides and ran away with them. He also said personnel who suffered gunshot wounds have been evacuated and taken to the hospital for treatment. He added that a military helicopter is being used to trail the escaped inmates, while urging citizens to be conscious of the environment and report strangers to the authorities. And latest reports say President Muhammadu Buhari has visited the correctional facility to assess the situation on ground, but gave no further details of his visits. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday assigned portfolios to 7 newly appointed ministers, charging them to serve the nation diligently, maintain unalloyed loyalty to the country. The president also announced the reassignment of portfolios in his cabinet, saying the new redeployment is aimed at reinvigorating certain sectors where the government desires to accomplish improved results. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony, which preceded the virtual Federal Executive Council meeting, the president said that as his administration is now on the home stretch of its second term, more work still needs to be done in diverse areas of the economy and national life. He also warned all members of the cabinet against corrupt practices, reiterating that public officers must be above board and those caught in corrupt practices will face the full wrath of the law. The newly appointed ministers and their portfolios are Ikechukwu Iko, Minister of State, Science and Technology; Umana, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs; Udi Odum, Minister of State Environment; Ademola Adegoroye, Minister of State Transport; Umar Ibrahim Yakub, Minister of State Works and Housing; Goodluck Opia, Minister of State Education; and Nkama Ekuma Nkama, Minister of State Health. The ministers who were reassigned include Senator Adeleke Mamora, formerly Minister of State Health, now Minister of Science and Technology; Maazu Jaji Sambo, formerly Minister of State Works and Housing, now Minister of Transportation; Sharon Ikazo, formerly Minister of State Environment, now Minister of State Niger Delta; and Senator Gbemisola Saraki, formerly Minister of State Transportation, now Minister of State Mines and Steel Development. Those in attendance at the swearing-in ceremony also observed a minute's silence for the outgoing Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Mohammed Barkindo, who died on Tuesday night. The group managing director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari, announced Barkindo's death in a tweet posted on his verified Twitter handle on Wednesday morning. President Muhammadu Buhari had hours before Barkindo's death honored the outgoing Secretary General of OPEC at the State House, Abuja, describing him as a worthy ambassador of the country. A two-day capacity building workshop on strengthening grassroots governance and accountability reporting has opened in Abuja. It is being organized by Safer Media Initiative in conjunction with the Wale Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism with support from the MacArthur Foundation. Clearview TV's Florence Joshua was at Wednesday's opening session and now reports.
The capacity building workshop opened with an insightful session where the participants were kept abreast with various aspects of investigative reporting, generating story ideas and interviewing techniques. The key speaker and chairman of the occasion, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi, urged participants to brace up for the tasks ahead of them. He said that the training was designed to strengthen their capacity on investigative journalism and that funds would be made available for them to access, as long as they are diligent and focused on exposing the facts and ills within the nation's governance system. Also, the Executive Director of Safer Media Initiative, Peter Yote, who spoke on the pivotal role journalism plays in the society, stressed the need for journalists to have a solid base to identify, acquire, and verify various sources of information and should never compromise the basic ethical principles of the journalism profession.
So that's why you see most of them farming. So I'm not going to ask us to farm, but there are other things that we probably can do. Maybe writing books. In foreign countries, journalists write books a lot. They do moderation. They do event moderation. They do speech writing. They do ghost writing for people. These are things that we can do to supplement our income.
And so at this time, trustworthy information is needed more than ever. And the only way to achieve that is to strengthen the reporting skills of journalists so that they will be able to go out there and uncover what is working and what is not. Journalists need to cover and uncover things that are happening, especially at the grassroots, and hold authorities to account so that citizens will have that informed information to make their choices when we move into the election year in 2023. So it's very important. I think this workshop is coming at the right time.
Malachi Uzendu, the editor of the authority newspapers, and Ochiaku Ugu, secretary NUJ FCT chapter, also spoke on the role of journalists in ensuring the overall development of the society.
Well, it is, but no matter the risk, there is no job without risk. Every job comes with its own worries. But like we advise our members, please, whatever you are doing, don't be the story. You have to strive to live to report the story, no matter what.
The country's leadership don't like investigative journalism, and we have demonstrated it because everything they are looking for, what the EFCC, ICPC should be doing, can be found on the pages of the newspapers. But I can assure you that the leaders, political leaders, are not interested in fighting corruption, because that is the fulcrum of investigative journalism. And so it does appear that journalists are not doing their best.
Safer Media Initiative is a non-profit organization engaged in providing a strong advocacy for the independent media, empowering journalists to conduct their crafts with up-to-date skills and relative safety. Its vision is to promote social justice, good governance, and holding the government accountable. Florence Joshua, reporting for Clearview Television.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has taken its war against drug abuse to the BOA Group by collaborating with the cement company to sensitize its staff, particularly the auto drivers. The objective is to acquaint the drivers with the negative effects of drug abuse and the legal implication of conveying hard drugs in order to help bring to the barest minimum the use of hard drugs in the country. Clearview TV's Nefisa Bello now reports.
Addressing participants at the sensitization program, which held at the Boa Cement Company in Okwila, Esako East Local Government Area of Edo State, the State Commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Buba Wakawa, outlined the objectives behind the awareness seminar, which was put together by the agency and the Boa Group, an initiative which the plant director of the cement factory, Idris Ahmed, corroborated, adding that it was long overdue as the massive destruction of lives and property in the society is caused by people who are under the influence of hard drugs.
The essence is not to identify a drug user and retrench it, but drug users need help. There are people that need help in the society. So the essence is to educate you. If you are able to identify any drug user, please bring him up for counseling so that he can be rehabilitated into the society. We have had courses where reputable organizations, drivers use the vehicles of reputable organizations, therefore bringing the name of that organization into disrepute. This sensitization is very important for you to know. Anytime you are driving, when you come across a passenger that you need to help, know the implication of it, not only to you, but to the reputation of your organization.
Drugs have become a national problem. In fact, it's a global problem. Our youths have taken recourse into use of drugs, either for criminal purposes or because of depression.
Citing Nigeria as one of the major producers of some substances, others who spoke on the effects of substance use on the society advised parents to be watchful as certain snacks believed to have been laced with substances are in circulation, and this could be harmful to their children.
One of the most concentrated drugs in the world, that is amphetamine. In Igbo land, they call it Urumiri. Urumiri is like ice. It's very white. They dry it on air condition. When you see it, you think you are seeing ice block. So if your child likes cookies and every day tells you that you want to eat cookies, check out. That cookies may contain drug.
Speaking with newsmen, the zonal commander, NDLEA, Fidel Kokodia, say the agency is committed to bringing the menace, which he described as a major challenge, to its barest minimum.
Drug business is a criminal business that you can't say can totally put to an end. So we're going to, the efforts of the agency, I can tell you, has gone a long way to manage the situation, to reduce to the barest minimum the availability of all these substances you mentioned.
The NDLEA, however, advised all to always say no to drug abuse. Nafisa Bello, reporting for Clearview Television.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview Television. The news returns after the break. Stay with us.
Listen to this truth. We are growing by the day, and our viewership keeps growing on our different platforms. We are inviting you to advertise your goods and services with us at incredibly low rates. And do you have news for us? Script or video? Please contact us through our email address, clearviewnewsroom@gmail.com, or WhatsApp line 080-650-30-300. Again, 080-650-30-300. Welcome on board.
You're welcome back, and now to other reports. Over the years, several economic empowerment schemes and policies have been put in place at national and sub-national levels to help empower Nigerian women. However, most of these policies haven't seen the light of the day or made the much anticipated impact due to poor monitoring and evaluation, which is important in assessing their performance. To change the narrative, the Development and Research Project Center, in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning and other stakeholders on Tuesday in Abuja, launched a monitoring and evaluation framework to help keep track of the various federal government policies targeted at promoting women economic empowerment in Nigeria. Clearview TV's Gloria Atta has the details.
As workers, entrepreneurs and service providers, women play a critical role in the social and economic development of every society. Yet, women's economic and human rights and their contributions have been largely overlooked, as they constantly face issues like unemployment, underemployment, and poor representation in public and corporate economic decision-making processes. Over the years, the federal government has come up with a number of intervention and empowerment schemes at the national and sub-national levels to help empower Nigerian women. The performance of the intervention schemes has been far from satisfactory due to poor monitoring and evaluation. To address the challenge, the federal government in September 2021 inaugurated a technical working group for the pilot monitoring and evaluation framework for the Women Economic Empowerment Intervention Schemes. At the launch of the new monitoring and evaluation framework, the director in charge at the Budget Ministry, Dr. Zakaria Lawal, said the rationale behind the framework is to further complement the federal government's efforts in promoting transparency in the allocation and implementation of policies in the country.
So this framework, is to provide that particular platform, which, if carried to the last letter, will ensure that women economic empowerment, programs and policies are implemented to the letter. But again, it is a collective responsibility, as you will see when we come to discuss. Several actors, are involved, and they have a role and responsibility to ensure that, this MIE framework, is implemented.
is so timely so that we can also be able to evaluate the extent to which we have gone, and then to also know best practices, implementations of already existing policies, and of course to also add to what we need.
The M&E instrument will no doubt address this all very important issue of gender gap. It will play a crucial role in project assessment. It will improve outputs, outcomes, and input by providing detailed information on assessed projects and areas that need improvement.
Earlier, the Project Director, Development and Research Project Center, Dr. Stanley Upai, said the framework funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation under the Partnership for Advancing Women's Economic Development is expected to strengthen and support the tracking and reporting of policies aimed at promoting women economic empowerment in Nigeria.
The timeline is a 2-year period, so it gives an opportunity to provide input, feedback into this working document, and it can be further improved. There's an avenue to course correct the targets, objectives, and all of those bits as the economy progresses.
Highlights of the event were the open discussions on the implementation of the monitoring and evaluation framework in Nigeria and presentation of awards to journalists and media partners for their contributions in championing the cause of women economic empowerment. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview Television.
In health, Katsina State has confirmed its first monkeypox case, but quickly added that the patient had been successfully treated and discharged from the hospital. The state's commissioner for health, Yakubu Danja, confirmed this at the commencement of the distribution of free medical care and medicines to all call centers spread across the 34 local government areas of the state. To stem a further spread of the disease in the state, the health commissioner assured that all the emergency response teams have been fully activated to deal with the situation.
The Katsina State Commissioner for Health, Yakubu Danja, says the state government has confirmed its first case of monkeypox with patients treated and discharged. The commissioner, who made the confirmation during the launch of the distribution of free Medicare and medicines to the 34 local government area, said the state government has activated all the emergency response team to curtail further spread of the disease in the state.
We have recorded one confirmed case, and all measures have been taken to ensure that that patient is well treated. After confirming him to be positive of the monkeypox, all necessary measures of giving him drugs has been taken, and the patient is now stable, has been recovered, and has been fully discharged. He's back to his family.
The Executive Secretary, Katsina State Primary Health Care Development Agency, Shamsuddin Yahaya, said all intervention measures have been put in place to deal with the outbreak of any disease as rainy season sets in.
Last year, around this time, we had a lot of outbreak of cholera. That is why this time around, we want to be more proactive to ensure that drugs are positioned at the facilities so that immediately when there is any outbreak, sometimes time is very important.
According to the Katsina State Commissioner for Health, Yakubu Danja, the state has about 15 suspected cases of monkeypox whose samples have been taken to Abuja, awaiting the results.
And on the foreign scene, a man accused of opening fire on a 4th of July parade near Chicago has been charged with 7 counts of murder. Officials say the suspect, Robert Cremo, 21, will be punished for the killing spree he has unleashed against the community. Lake County State Attorney Eric Reinhardt said the attack in Highland Park left 7 dead and more than 30 others injured. Reinhardt added that dozens more charges will be filed before the investigation was over. The suspect is accused of firing 70 bullets from a high-power rifle down on the crowd and disguising himself as a woman. so he could escape alongside fleeing victims. After an 8-hour manhunt on Monday, police arrested Cremo and he was discovered with a second rifle similar to the one used in the attack. 3 other firearms were also found at his home. Police said the suspect had 2 prior contacts with law enforcement but was still able to purchase 5 guns in the past year. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. The federal government has confirmed the rearrest of 300 out of about 600 inmates that escaped from the Kuje Medium Custodial Center in Abuja following Tuesday night's attack by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shoaib Belgore, who confirmed this, said between 50 and 60 of the inmates were apprehended on the outskirts of the FCT by security operatives who have since launched a manhunt for the escaped inmates. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday assigned portfolios to 7 newly appointed ministers, charging them to serve the nation diligently and to maintain unalloyed loyalty to the country. The president also announced the reassignment of portfolios in his cabinet, saying the new redeployment is aimed at reinvigorating certain sectors where the government desires to accomplish improved results. We also told you that Katsina State has confirmed its first monkeypox case, but quickly ordered that the patient had been successfully treated and discharged from the hospital. The State's Commissioner for Health, Yakubu Danja, confirmed this at the commencement of the distribution of free Medicare and medicines to all emergency call centers spread across the 34 local government areas of the state. Remember to like us on Facebook, Clearview Television, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online, follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG, and also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. Thanks for watching. I am Nkiro Obuli.